So, since I was 19 years old, I have never had less than $6,500 to my name. I'm 26 now, by the way. And when my bank account did hit its lowest at $6,500, that was only for a short time period of 8 months from, I believe, November of 2019 to about June 2020. And that was when I was unemployed and traveling and living a little bit. But besides that little time frame of when my bank account hit its lowest at 6,500, besides that, you take that out, I've never had less than $10,000 to my name. And so in today's video, I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys the 4 things that I have learned that helped me save my very first $10,000, and I want to go ahead and share it with you guys so that you can go ahead and start saving to your first 10K. But before we go ahead and we dive into this video, be sure to go and smash the like button for your boy. Drop a comment down below. Subscribe if you're new because we're on the road to 2K. And last but not least, turn on my post notification bell so you never miss out on any of my future video uploads. But without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's dive into the video and the first thing that I learned. The first thing you need to do in order for you to be able to save your first 10K is you need to have or establish some sort of income. And one of the easiest ways to start getting some income or money coming in is by first getting a fucking job. I know, it sounds pretty generic and pretty basic, but with all the content that I've consumed over the years in my life and with the people that I've met and stuff like that, you'd be surprised how many people not only don't even think to get a job, but don't even have a job, or more importantly, don't even try to get a fucking job, and they expect to have some sort of dollar amount in their bank account. And so if you want to start saving to your first 10K, you first off need to establish or have some sort of income so that you have some money coming in. So go get a job. And then depending on how fast you want to get to that 10K, you may need to get 2 or maybe even 3 jobs in the meantime while you find another way to start making a lot of money a lot quicker. The second thing you need to do for you to save to your first 10K is you need to try and reduce your debt as much as you possibly can, or preferably to 0, as well as reduce your bills as much as you possibly can. And so if you're somebody out there watching this, you're living in a very, very nice apartment, but let's say you necessarily don't have any money in your account and you're just, paying just for you to sleep because you work all day just to pay for that, but you have the opportunity to move back in with your parents and they don't charge any rent, then I recommend you start doing that. If you are planning on going to college, I do suggest, let's say you're not in the best spot or you want to do your parents a favor and save them a couple $1,000s a year, I'd recommend you go to a community college instead of just going straight to a 4-year. The only reason most people go to a 4-year, to be quite frank, now that I look back, because I did go to community college for 1.5 years and I was like 3 or 4 quarters away from getting my AA degree, but I dropped out. Going to a 4-year college is honestly just most of the time for your own ego and just so it looks good on a resume for the jobs that you apply when you get out. But when you really look and you compare the two with the classes community colleges offer versus the classes that 4-year universities offer, most of the time it's the same. But not only that, the community college and the credits you earn from there literally carry over when you transfer after 2 to 3 years. I mean, that's the purpose of community college. But if you are not necessarily able to pay for a 4-year or go straight to a 4-year, community college is a great alternative. And on top of that, try your best to not give into what I would call lifestyle inflation. Because when I was 19 and I hit my very first 10K, at that point in my life, I had one of the oldest iPhones. I think it was like a iPhone 2 or 3, but at that point we were on like the 6 or 7. I'm not too sure, but I did know for fact the iPhone that I had was a couple generations back. And the reason why I know that is because my iPhone now, I just have the 12 Pro Max, I think, and we're on like the 16 or 17. And so I'm the type to upgrade my phone 5 to 7 years after I get a new one. So I had that going on. The car that I drove at the time, there wasn't a car note on it. It had already been paid off for a few years by my parents. And the car that my parents got me, it was a hand-me-down from my mom, because when it was time for me to drive, we all as a family agreed that my mom, because we were already in talks of who should get a new car, because at that time we only had 2 cars and then there was 3 of us that was able to drive. And so we all agreed that my mom would get the newer car. I would take the hand-me-down, which I had 0 problem with. And so I didn't have to pay for a monthly car note. And more importantly, I didn't give in into the latest fashion trends. I didn't buy the latest sneakers. And hell, I didn't buy a lot of the shit that a lot of my friends see that I have now, like, you know, the jewelry, you know, the nice clothes, and like all the, like, you know, stuff that I've been wanting growing up. I didn't buy at that time because I genuinely did not care, because I think at one point when I saw my bank account getting close to 10,000, I was driven to hit that 10K mark. And so to any guy out there watching this video, if you're young, bro, and you know, you feel like you're close, or you check your bank account and you're close to hitting that 10K, or you want to save your first 10K, try your best to reduce your debt as much as you possibly can. If you don't need to live in an apartment, or you don't need to live on your own, and your parents let you move back in with them and they're not going to charge you rent, I highly recommend you move back in with them. But more importantly, try your best to think long term and don't give in to lifestyle inflation. I know you want to try and compete with your boys, or try to compete with other people and having better and newer things, but you're going to need to think long term if you want to have $10,000 at least in your bank account. The third thing you need to do for you to be able to save your first 10K, and this honestly ties into the second lesson that I just shared with you guys, but I think needs honestly to kind of be reiterated, and that is to live under your fucking means, which is basically just spend less than you earn. Because what I have noticed, especially as social media has grown over the years and exploded during COVID, is a lot of people nowadays, myself included from time to time, but I'm definitely better than a lot of people, is we all suffer from what I would call lifestyle inflation. And all that simply is when you notice you get a better job, or you start to notice more money is coming in, and you don't stop seeing that money coming in, most of the time you feel the need to want to upgrade your lifestyle because your income has been upgraded. But if you do that, bro, you're either going to eventually have your debt and your bills higher than your lifestyle or your income is able to keep up with, or you're going to break even. And so what we need to do is we need to keep your current lifestyle lower than your income, so that you'll be able to save to your first $10,000. And that is probably the biggest lesson that my parents instilled in me when I was 18, right before I started my first day of work and before I got my very first credit card, is they told me, and I'll never forget, I think it was my mom or my dad, they told me, only buy things you need. Don't buy things you want for now. Because once you work to get to a point where you're making a lot of money, then you can buy the things you not only need, but the things you want. I never forgot it since. And I'm 26 now. And since then, I've never had less than $10,000. And that all the nice stuff, like the shoes that I've bought recently, the jewelry, the nice clothes, and me just overall presenting myself, and even being able to have the privilege of taking women out on dates, all that stuff that not only you guys see, but my boys see, has only been a result of that. But it took years and years of financial discipline. And not only that, but spending less than I earn. And so if you're somebody out there that has a hard time with not giving into temptation, or you give into temptation easily, what I recommend you do, bro, is every month set a certain amount of money that you want to save. And if you hit that, let's say for example, you make $3,000 a month. Let's say you tell yourself, I want to save $1,000, and then your bills are like, let's say $1,500. You have $500 left over, then go ahead, take that $500 and spend it on the thing or things that you want. But only after you stole away that $1,000 that you told yourself that you'd save. Because in me doing that, I was able to buy some of the things that I want, or have a little bit of some nicer things, because of me instilling that lesson, or applying that lesson that my parents instilled in me when I was that age. And so that is the third thing you need to go ahead and do, is spend less than you earn and live under your means as much as you possibly can for as long as you can, or until you hit that first 10K or whatever savings amount that you have. And now, the fourth and final thing that you need to go ahead and do in order for you to save your first 10K, and this is one that I unfortunately learned about only in recent years. I wish I had found out about this or learned this when, I was at 19, because quite frankly, I'd probably have double the amount of money that I have to my name than I do now. But that is to open a high yield savings account and put money into it ASAP. Because the difference between a regular savings account that you would open at a brick and mortar location versus a high yield savings account that you would open online is not only the interest rate that you would earn on said account, but the fact is it's a drastic difference in terms of the money that you earn. And it's basically free money, passive income that you earn every single month by simply just putting some money in there and just letting it sit in there. And so when you get the chance, bro, if you have a little bit of money left over that you've been saving, put all that money into a high yield savings account ASAP. Because every single month, depending on when you open it, whether it's the first of the month, the middle of the month, or the end of the month, that savings account is literally going to pay you free money because of their interest. But the only downside, obviously, is you have to report it on your taxes. But that will help you get to your first 10K quicker. But yeah, that's probably the last thing that I would do, especially if you want to expedite the process of having your account grow and having hit 10K a lot quicker. Which, by the way, with this video, I'm not saying to have 10K in your checkings or 10K in your savings. I'm saying 10,000, I'm saying 10K to your name. So I'm talking about 10K total. If you want to hit that, then I would take all this advice that I have given you in this video. But that's all I had to say in today's video. There was one more piece of advice that I wanted to give that I've been thinking about for like the last 2 weeks, because I've planned to record this video for the last 2 weeks, but I was trying to figure out what that last piece of advice was. But I just, for some reason, couldn't think of it. If I do think of it, by the time I post this video, I'll leave it down in the description if there is another piece of advice. But I hope you guys did find this video useful, and I hope it helps you in you being able to hit your first 10K, or having $10,000, or saving your first $10,000. And if you guys did find this video helpful, or you found some value out of it, be sure to go and smash the like button for your boy. Drop a comment down below, subscribe if you're new, because we're on the road to 2K. And last but not least, turn on my post notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future video uploads. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch y'all in my next video. Peace.